Alrighty, and welcome back to HeroesHype Amateur Series week number 84. We are getting set to go into our final here. We are going to have Team Carbon versus Oh My Science. I mean, a team that's been dominating tonight versus the team that dominated last week. I mean, not to make a pun or anything, but like, how hype are you? Like,
I mean, really hype. Is there anything that you remember from last week about Carbon that really particularly stood out? To
be honest, they had insane versatility with draft. I was mentioning Taste for Blood, Asmodan stacking between mid and top on Tomb of the Spider Queen. That was them last week. I mean, they pulled out some. I mean, I was mentioning it to the caster I was with last week. They played the same hero twice, and I think it was like an ETC and a Stukov. I think that was like, those are the only heroes they repeated, and it was only like once or twice. Like, I mean, they really showed up last week. And we're going to be going into Sky Temple, not a map that I honestly see too often.
Yeah, it's not that high priority for most competitors. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm not sure who picked it here. We're really getting a tour of the Nexus tonight, which I love. We're not getting a repeat maps. So, and it's also interesting for a first game of a 3-game series.
Absolutely. Oh, maybe? Looks like we're going into BOE. Either way, we'll figure it out. But one way or another, even if we're going to Battlefield of Eternity, I'm still fine with that. Like, I still love this map regardless. But if we are going to Sky Temple, we could talk about, there's things like, Abathur. Like, Abathur, I mean, even then, just to note here, Battlefield of Eternity, he's still fine on that map too. Like, he still works during the the immortal phase for the side soaking.
And he's the only hero left in the entire game with the mule talent, especially against the lasers. I was thinking about that earlier when we had the 4% core. I said, if only they had mule, but they would have had to have an Abathur.
Rework Morales. I believe she was the only other person with it.
Yeah, I mean, there was once a time when there's so many mules flying around.
I mean, it was almost every support had it at that point. I mean, I think I remember it on Tyrande way back in the day, I think.
Malfurion, yeah, and I like that they've pared down those generic talents. There's still a couple of them bouncing around, but
there's all those wonderful theories though, like the Nexus conspiracy theories, if you will, like, they're taking away Mule because they're going to put in a Mule character, like,
I've heard
stuff
that.
Like that. Like,
I've heard people.
We have a probe. I mean, we have Probius.
Yeah, I think someone said SCV character was what they were hoping for, and he goes around repairing.
See, that would be great, but then it would be like, I don't know how I feel about an SCV character. Like, I kind of like it, but I kind of hate it at the same time. Like, I'm like, what do you do besides nothing? Like, oh, you got attack, time to run away. Like, this is.
I gotta go repair some more stuff.
Is the same way.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like he would be much to the chagrin of Hero League players everywhere, just going, oh, everyone's expecting Alex Straza at BlizzCon, but in fact, it's the SCV.
It's the SCV. There you go. There's your BlizzCon leak. Take it from us.
Yeah, exclusive leaks here at the HeroesHype Amateur Series.
Speaking of BlizzCon, though, like, I am absolutely I have 2 calendars in my house. In my office here, I work over on that side of the room, and there's a calendar right next to it, and there's just individual tick marks of like how many, like, I had a countdown from like the last 30 days of just like how many days till the 26th. When do we start? Like, I am absolutely so excited about this game here.
Okay, looks like we are remaking into Sky Temple.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hyped for it every year. I love every aspect of it. It's, being a Blizzard fanboy, playing all the games, love all the announcements, love the cosplay, love just the tournaments and the community positivity that comes out of the whole thing.
It's just, honestly, it's a blast, and I love it. I always, like, every year, like the night before BlizzCon, like, I always watch like the previous year's final. And then the year before, like, it got to the point where, like, I was talking to my buddy this year. He's like, so what are you going to do? Because there's been there's a lot to watch now. And I was just like, I could watch so many HTC finals. Like I'm just so excited. Like there's just so much content at this point. It's just you can look through like, it's insane to look back like a year ago and look at like what compositions we were going into. And then you get to this point and you're like, why would you ever pick these things? Like in comparison, like the way that the game changes so quickly and so rapidly, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I hope we're gonna see some more significant announcements for Heroes of the Storm specifically this year. I expect to see the 1 or 2 hero announcements. Hopefully for me, I think Alexstrasza is the most widely accepted rumor, but I'd love to see an Alexstrasza Deathwing dual release, double dragon, if you will.
Here's the thing: there was that snapshot of Firebat in the background of the Kill videos. Like, I
know, I was upset. I
talked with a friend about it, and like we were talking, and like I personally, like you've heard me talk about it a bunch. Like I love specialist heroes because I just they're fun. Like it's just an absolute blast to just work on macro control literally the entire map while still like for example, like Abathur, I talk about it a lot, but I love to play it because it's one of those things like, all right, I can body mid while my, or I can body bottom while my team's in, top, and hat mid or hat my teammate, and just, there's so many things that you can add to it. So the one thing we got into these like long discussions, like what's Firebat going to be? And we were like, please not an assassin. And then I was like, well, we were talking about his character in StarCraft, and like, I think he kind of leans a little bit on the side of lane clear, but I feel like the way that he's built, people are just gonna be like, he's a tank.
He's a tank, yeah.
Because StarCraft has 1, and they have 2, and neither of them are they have 3, and neither of them are actually tanks.
Yeah, what do we have? Dahaka, Artanis, and
Sergeant Hammer.
Oh, okay, there you go.
You always have to.
You always have to. Oh, this is the one. We have a 2-tank comp. No, we have a 3-tank comp. Garrosh ban coming out of Oh My Science again.
And actually, here's the one thing. I'm pretty sure that it's left. I think it's Oh My Science on the left, and we have Team Carbon on the right.
I would imagine.
They went ahead. They banned out that Lieutenant Morales. They said no thanks.
Then they saw what an early prioritization that Oh My Science was putting on it, and other teams' inability to punish such a high pick. I feel like you want to go maybe more dive centric. I think that Fractress was trying to focus. The Chromie was the idea, just nuke her from the back. But a first pick Brightwing coming out on Sky Temple, like you were talking about with Avatar. Global's very strong here. Brightwing has the global, very strong anti-dive here.
Yeah, no, I absolutely that was the one thing I was going to note too is Brightwing, that anti-dive is really, really strong. Strong, and as well as the fact of just the global aspect, and like the fact that you can utilize her in like top lane while the bottom shrine is active. You can have her just phase shift in, at the last moment when needed. So an absolutely strong first pick, but at the same time, we have Oh My Science picking up a Vala ETC.
Yeah, something you'd consider a little more standard in the current meta, if there is such a thing, but just power picks. In ETC, I think the versatility of ETC as such a high pick is you can use them as your offlaner and transition into the stage dive, or you can it gives your draft flexibility, or you can just run the mosh pit and have them be your main tank and shift into a Dahaka or a Sonya.
And that's actually interesting. I'm curious to see what kind of global response they're going to be taking on the side of Oh My Science, because Dahaka, I would actually like them to pick that up. That would be really, really strong for them. They'd get a good solo laner, as well as just the flank from there. But it looks like we're going to have a Muradin and a Greymane picked up for Team Carbon here. I mean, this is kind of what we talked about throughout the night, is just picking these very kind of safe starts. Brightwing, very good alteration for this map. And the Muradin is just, we saw in the first game, very strong. Greymane is just a great character overall for fights as well as lane clear. So, I mean, just strong start from both teams.
I don't feel like Greymane has a weak point. He doesn't fit into the top hero in any one specific category, but he is so strong in every aspect. You know, the only thing he lacks is a global, but he's just so versatile. And this draft so far is so versatile. You know that the Brightwing's going to be on the global pressure. I would expect to see a Tassadar ban coming out from Carbon here against Zavala, but you could transition a couple different ways. I would think a second support would be in the cards, but it's not necessarily 100% true. If you get some more sustaining heroes, or they could go into a triple global, double global, maybe Dahaka or Falstad coming out. And if in this 3-4 slot for Oh My Science, they don't read that and don't counterpick at least one of the globals, they could be in trouble in the macro game.
That is really true. I mean, it could be really difficult, but I'm weirded out by the fact that we're hovering in Ariel here. Now, Ariel, not a bad healer, not the best, but it's just one of those things, like, she pairs well with the Vala, yes, and maybe they're going into a Gul'dan as well, and so maybe that's the priority for it, and maybe that's something that they know, but it looks like they're actually going to swap over to the Lucio at this point and just take him out. Not bad. Break It Down's really powerful, as well as just the speed boost and the overall AoE healing to his team. I mean, it works like Brightwing, but it's a little bit better because there are a lot more team synergized ultimates and abilities.
Yeah, and I guess that really helps ETC a lot, because if he's going to be your front liner, he does get the armor buff shortly after he uses abilities, but if an ETC slides out and then loses that armor buff, he can get just absolutely exploded. And Lucio backing that up with the sound barrier, I think that happened a couple of times. I'm not sure if it was in the last game or the game before, but it really mitigates that blow up. But see, the ability for, I really feel like the most terrifying pick here is Tassadar, but maybe they're trying to lure them into Tassadar to go for a crazy global strategy. Maybe that's just my mind doing a bit of overtime. So we'll see.
Hey, no, I mean, hey, it's always fun to theory craft, but there's Stukov. Okay.
Stukov Kerosene. I like that. I think that's a strong duo. Zone control for the Stukov arm is extremely strong on these laser pads, and Kerosene just offering a little bit of aggression while always having that supplemental healing. Although he is it is only going to be ETC and Kerosene in there, and Kerosene going toe-to-toe with a Mert and Greymane, plus the Brightwing polymorph, could be bad.
Yeah, like at this point, I'm just kind of looking back and forth between the drafts. Like, all right, what do they have to stop Stukov? They've got Muradin and they've got Brightwing, but what do they have to stop Kerosene and ETC? Brightwing as well. So, like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things on the side of Oh My Science that are just really, really strong, and just overall, like, I think it's just they've got backups to, you know, if something gets kind of disrupted, they've got a backup to it.
Yo, Abathur Genjin, you're in.
What even? Oh, wow.
Solo healer Brightwing, the global presence from Abathur.
Excuse me, they have the best healer in the world, Abathur.
Yeah, Abathur.
He's got a healing column, so
he has that shielding, and you can use the ultimate evolution onto Greymane or Genji, depending on what the situation is. I assume it would be Genji, but those are both classic Abathur combinations.
I mean, I was when I saw Abathur, I was like, oh, do we have an Illidan too? Like, are we gonna get both? What kind of world are we about to be in? Now the question is how they're gonna counter this Abathur. Let's just throw every crazy idea out there. Why not just go into a Nova?
Yeah,
and just go slug hunting. Or realistically, though, in actuality, I think I was gonna say you could take Zeratul, but no, because Brightwing would just counteract it. So they don't really go for anything that really just hard counters the Abathur here.
But are we looking at a stage dive now? That's what that makes me think.
I think definitely. I absolutely think this is going to be a stage dive map.
And I feel like if you're gonna, you could try to counter the Abathur, or you could try to counter the Genji. And I feel like since the dodge nerf, one of Genji's hardest counters is Greymane. So they sort of took that away, and at the same time created synergy with it. And they took the Brightwing away again, anti-dive. They sort of took a lot of the anti-dive, gave it to themselves, and then put that aggression out there. Plus the global control. I'm super pumped for this game. I think we've said it every single game tonight. But...
Oh no, but they're all amazing. That's the thing. The other thing to note here is that Stukov will have a little bit of a counter onto that Genji, as well as the Anub'arak too. I mean, this is going to be difficult for him here.
Yeah, and Anub'arak really, how before we accented the fact that he was going against a Zul'jin and it was going to be more difficult for him. Now he's going against a Genji Greymane. That's a ton of spell damage. Genji does mostly spell damage with the Shurikens and the Dragon Blade, and Anub'arak spell, he's picking the spell armor talent, so I think he's going to get a lot of value.
Alrighty, but on the left-hand side, we are going to have Oh My Science with Dark Chimera going to be on that Karazim. We'll have Battery's going to be on the Stukov. Citru will be on that Anub'arak. Troy will be on the Vala, and Hacho will be on that ETC once again.
And on the right side, we got Team Carbon in the red with Caesar Salad on Murden, Noah playing Abathur. We've got Fats on Genji, Legacy on Brightwing, and Vin rounding out the team as Ringmaster Greymane.
Absolutely. And so as we get into this matchup here, it looks like we're going to be dedicating 3 members to the mid lane. We'll go ahead and have actually this 2v1 in top. And the Genji could get rotated on here, but he does have a disengage as well in the bottom lane, just kind of looking at the mini-map here. Doesn't look like they're going to be he's going to be able to push back too hard here. And it looks like it's kind of the, bottom lane and top lane, they're going to be kind of sharing the same fate. Brightwing going to phase shift actually into this bottom lane currently, diving on to a few of the members. Fat's taking quite a bit of damage here. Murden jumping into that back lane. First kill of the game is going to go over to Oh My Science, actually potentially for a second kill here. Power slide in from the ETC. We do have Murden dying to the minion wave, and Legacy without a phase shift here is going to be falling as well. So that's going to be a dominating start to this matchup.
That was a great little fight there. Anub'arak just barely edging out. I'm not sure what the cooldown was on his personal shield, but barely getting a personal shield up 200 life and just disengaging and getting value from his spell armor. Great play from them.
Definitely. Genji diving down there and showing how that deflect can really hurt Avala. Getting in there and getting that deflect and taking her down to just about half health. We will kind of ignore that. We'll jump around at this point and see. We have tank v tank in mid, and in the top, this looks like it's going to be held over by Team Carbon here, and Abathur going down into that bottom lane, so he'll be body soaking as I was kind of talking about in draft. Like, he'll body soak bottom, he'll hat soak, or jump on one of his teammates. But definitely this is where the Abathur comes into play. But we do have a dive onto the Murden here, gonna get knocked back as well. Caesar Salad has the jump out, and it looks like he should be able to get out. Fat's in the back lane trying to get a little bit of damage out. But Brightwing coming here, it looks like they'll just go ahead and they'll disengage from this.
Fat's applying very good pressure and knowing his positioning. 4 members of the team right there, not scared of the Stukov arm at all.
Absolutely. And the other thing, too, is, Karazim going to have the dash out, but Genji will have the chase. He gets the dash to the minion. Will be getting near his teammate, going to get the pustule. They're giving him some self-healing, as well as we actually have a dive here onto Vin. Going to take me quite a bit of damage. We have the dash through from Fats. He will be able to get the protect status and able to get out of there, but it looks like, I believe they're going to be able to get both of these towers over. At least the majority of both. Yeah, and they've already got a full level lead over the Abathur. I mean, or over Team Carbon. You expect the Abathur to be a slight bit behind, but 6-5. And after watching how Oh My Science has been on the ball tonight with just running with their advantages, I'm starting to get a bit worried for Carbon in this game already. This map does not lend itself to giving you a lot of time for comebacks. Absolutely. And the other thing that I want to note here, and what I've been noticing, at least out of Oh My Science in this matchup, is that Abathur works in a situation where the fights are delayed and elongated, and they're trying to do that. But the unfortunate thing is you're seeing this really, really aggressive posturing and really aggressive pushing that's coming out of All My Science. So the Abathur doesn't get that value because of the fact that they're starting fights and ending fights quickly. They're not letting a lot of the objectives drag out. They're not letting him get the value that he's trying to get here, and that's the hardest part, honestly, for Team Carbon.
Yeah, which is so interesting because you look at these comps and say, well, clearly, you know, Carbon's going to be the aggressive team here, and Oh My Science is just going to have to deal with that. Actually, they are having some aggression here, putting damage out on the Battery, but Battery will get safely behind the wall and take a hit from the Fountain. Troy just covering him that whole time.
Yes, and it looks like they will be able to just kind of poke there. They're going to work towards their 7s, but at the same time, it looks like Dark Chimera will stay up here with Legacy, and they'll be starting to just kind of... They have this camp that's been pushing up. Now, Greymane is going to go ahead and try and get... we'll get this hard camp as well, so that's going to be probably timed out with the altar that or the shrine that should be spawning exactly right now. Legacy taking a little bit of damage, able to get behind the gate without a problem. I honestly would expect Dark Chimera at this point to probably be starting to rotate into that bottom lane and really, you know, stay with the team and maybe get some kills. But at this point, Troy's going to take quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, Legacy's going to be able to just rotate out of here. A couple things I'd like to note before the fight starts here is we have a full auto attack build coming out of Greymane again, this time on the side of Team Carbon. We have Mule coming out of Abathur level 7, and we also have Give 'em the Axe coming out of Muradin. So maybe Muradin hoping to start to apply a little bit of damage himself.
Oh, and he is with that as well, but ETC going to be sliding back in. The disrupt, the knockback will be there onto a few of the members of Silence. Was out for a couple seconds onto them. Hotshot taking quite a bit of damage here, will be kind of locked down, and we will have him falling in this engagement. Kerosene just making it to the fight at this point. Going to go ahead and rotate straight onto the point. Going to start channeling this while the rest of the team just stays in the lane, soaking up for 10s, as well as just making sure that they zone the enemy team away here. Brightwing going to Hearth right in lane. Going to get knocked out of that right away. We'll get the phase shift onto Vin, which will provide some vision as well as a little bit of shielding. We do have Genji diving into that backline, trying to get some value here, but Citra will be able to get over the gate and tap the wall and be able to get out fine.
And look at top lane. Abathur, there was a camp taken there, and Abathur to apply pressure and take the top fort completely on his own, and now the level gap is about half a level.
Absolutely, but here 10s were achieved. They did get the web wrap onto one of the members. The help was called. ETC going to get the stage dive as we talked about in draft there. Power slide into a couple of members. Legacy is in a bad position. Brightwing will be falling here as well as Greymane. So yes, Abathur is getting so much value and pushing top. But here's the thing, you're losing members, and this is a boss currently walking down your bottom lane. Granted, it's a 7-ish minute boss, but it's going to be going up against your keep front gate, so that's something that they really need to consider, and it looks like they're kind of trying to respond to.
And watching how aggressive Oh My Science has been with these bosses and the pushing, I assume they're going to be going for the front wall and the keep here, but just in time, different from the Battlefield of Eternity map, just in time, Team Carbon's getting their level 10s, getting their heroic abilities. They've got Emerald Wind online. They've got the double Genji, double Greymane online. Go for the throw, Dragon Blade. And I think we'll have an avatar coming from Muradin, but
you never
we've
know.
seen Haymaker, yeah. We've seen a lot of Haymakers. So instead, they choose to, instead Oh My Science chooses to just back off and take the mid 4. I think they recognize that. Again, just showing their patience. They have been aggressive, but they recognize the fact that Team Carbon achieved 10. You know what? Why take a risky fight? Let's just get a slight amount of value, take the value that's on the map, and just hold the... Oh, Abathur caught in the top lane. And just hold their advantage that they have. And now, with that Abathur pick, they're able to apply more pressure top.
Exactly, and the other thing to note here is that bottom lane is very hard to push because there is this bridge, so the engage disengage around that is very hard to deal with. So just backing off and not giving Team Carbon an opening to, you know, switch the momentum or gain the advantage on this map. Now, they don't see this Muradin rotating because they don't have the vision for this area. Brightwing is going to go ahead and get the phase shift in as well. We currently have Fats going in. He will be cloned as well, so that's 2 Genjis currently diving in as the members are retreating here. We do have the clone diving in, but there's the stun. One flailing swipe did go out. The web wrap did go out from a Nubrak. They're trying to make sure that they keep the Vala alive. There will be the dive from the Greymane. They will get the kill onto him as well. The stun goes out from Nubrak, but it looks like he will get the palm at the last second. They get the kill onto the clone. He does have the burrow out. They only lose Vala in this entire chase.
Still great play coming out of Team Carbon. Really surprised that they even got the Vala. As they progressed more towards the keep, it looked like nothing was going to happen. The stage dive coming in from Hotro. Vats has taken a lot of damage and is stuck in the silence, trying to get out. His protect is off, and he's going to get out and just try to apply poke as they try to disengage with Greymane very low on mana. I don't think he's going to be able to escape here. And the follow-up stun, it looks like he's going to go down. Muradin also trying to get away. Now he's just trying to draw the attention, and they overstayed their welcome at that bruiser camp, and they got punished heavily for it.
Absolutely. Like I was looking at it and I was like, I wonder if they sniffed this out. Like I was thinking in the back of my head, and they rotated into it, and you saw that instant stage dive onto them was absolutely perfect, and it just slowed them, and they really just got the chase that they needed. And killing Murden in that situation really gave them a buff here, because the fact that now, you know, there's no one to body that damage. It's really hard to go up against this composition, especially when Abathur's already used clone, and you don't have, you know, anything to, you know, just take that extra damage or delay. But we do actually have a little bit of a chase here. Looks like they'll disengage on the side of Oh My Science. The web wrap did go out. We do have Kerosene coming back up at this point. It is going to get cleared out, and it looks like we're going to have a 4v4 in this top lane. Actually, excuse me, we have a 5v4. We have the clone of Genji. ETC going to use that stage dive into that backline, going to get so much damage to get the kill onto the Greymane. We do have the clone getting killed by Kerosene. The real one is actually going to get dove on by the Kerosene and will also be getting killed. Brightwing going to try and get the phase shift, but there is the knockback from ETC, and that is the kill onto Brightwing here. And at this point, okay, just checking really quick. The boss has another minute 30, so they're going to go ahead and push up these lanes, but what a phenomenal turnaround.
That fight looked so in favor of Team Carbon. Place I said, okay, I know the stage dive is coming in, but they are all at full health here. Dragon Blade was coming up. I was so confident that they were just going to step up, take the fight. I think stage dive hit all 5 members, probably did about 2,000 damage total to the team, and that just allowed Oh My Science to jump on them. And I believe it was Greymane that went down first, but they just were erased.
Just got that stage dive into the backline, and then got one like power slide knockback and just absolutely bodied that Greymane. The other thing to note here, Abathur did pick up Mule. It was showing in top lane, so that is something that they will have to benefit them, but it was used on top gate, and this bottom keep is currently in much need of it. But Mule cooldown isn't the longest thing on Earth, so they can go ahead and get that, you know, put that right onto that keep and delay this out a little bit, get them closer to 16s, and really try and get advantage on this map.
Yeah, it's a 1 minute cooldown, correct? That's the case.
Hover my cursor, 60 seconds, yes.
Yeah, so it should be up pretty soon. And it on this map, it's really, the thing about this map is you get the early lead. It's almost like the, oh, we have a Dragon Blade coming in from Genji. Battery is going to be super low, but the palm going out perfectly in time. Stage I big power slide. The clone's taking a lot of damage. The strafe has gone up, but nothing really happens. The cocoon goes off on Fats. Fats gets out, and the clone is down. So now this is going to be a 4v5. Caesar Salad also taking a lot of damage, but he's got the hat on him. All the members of Oh My Science just 100% HP.
Just like, that's just, I mean, Stukov, and then you also have to consider the fact that Karasim's in there as well. Mule trying to do work on this keep, trying to save it, but our poor buddy will not be able to save it. And it looks like at this point we do have the rest of the team just kind of rotating in on this mid keep and just trying to get a second set of catapults pushing up this lane. Now, without the Murden here, they definitely can get this value. And this is a hard situation to be Team Carbon, honestly.
I was wondering how they all got topped off so quickly. I was thinking there was a completed Vigorous re-update talent coming out of Stukov, but he doesn't even have that talent. I think it was just the palm of Kerosene.
And yeah, as well as Kerosene, he's just getting so much value here. Now at this point, we do have the bottom altar popping, and 2 keeps are gone. So this is going to be, ooh, we actually have the stun on to Seacher. He does have the burrow out. Brightwing will get the phase shift in. That's going to be going to the backline. Once again, they're going to utilize that Emerald Wind. The ETC will get the Stage dive in. We're going to have the web wrap going to go out. Noah going to be getting the clone out onto Greyman. It's going to get burned down right away. Kerosene taking quite a bit of damage. He's going to go ahead and use the palm. It will not be triggered. He will get the kill onto the Greyman. It looks like Legacy will be falling as well as Fats here. He does get the dash away, but at this point, I think we just see them walk onto core.
With this comp, you know, with the Vala, they're just going to be able to pour damage into the core. Zukov with his 600 damage melees. Genji trying for the Dragon Blade. Big knockback coming out of Zukov. Darker Mirror taking a lot of damage. No palm, apparently. Battery also taking a lot of damage. Of course, only at 50%. They their Vala falls. They want to make a stand here, but I don't think they have quite enough damage. 19%. A noob falling. Can they kill EGC? Another hold here coming out of Team Carbon.
An 11% core. Abathur's just sitting in front of the keep like, oh, your whole team's dead? I can finally play the map that I want to. Like, this is Abathur's like paradise right now. It's just, oh, I'll just sit in front of the, like, he just keeps inching forward and forward and forward. Now at this point though, the one thing I want to note, they really need to take advantage of this opening that they have. I personally think, okay, yes, they are going onto this top lane. They want to take this keep, but I really think they should also be focusing on potentially picking up the boss, walking that down bottom lane, taking the shrine, because I mean, they're spawning, yes, but I'm afraid that this could potentially be a wipe here. Now they are taking this core down very quickly. We do have Murden jumping in. Noah's clone will be burned out quite quickly. We do have the damage slowly going.
Greyman's at high HP. This is gonna happen.
And that's going to be, wow.
Game 1 going to Team Carbon with an unbelievably good call. And I said, Brightwing's back at the base. My brain shut off for a minute and forgot about that global.
Oh my god, that was absolutely phenomenal. The fact that they tried to walk onto that core, but Genji getting out there with that Dragon Blade and swiping down so many members, like, just unfortunately, that Team Carbon just reverses it on Oh My Science, and this is the next match, please. Next match. Let's go.
Yes, especially after Oh My Science was in firm control of that game for most of it, and just watching the immaculate play from Team Carbon. And we were saying, oh, they need to take a keep. You were saying they need to take the boss. I was looking at the map saying, oh, I don't know if they're really in position and ready for that. I didn't even think they would really make the call to just go for it, or if they did, it would be closer than that. But as I'm watching the core fall and I'm looking at Greyman's HP, I'm saying, this is happening.
Once they started burning down the core, I was like, no, they actually have this. And it was a tight window, and they took the opportunity. That was the one thing. Like, I talked about hesitation, and realistically, like, I was the one who was kind of hesitating. I was the one who was just like, no, they should just do the passive thing. Like, get boss, take shrine, potentially give the opponent the upper hand once again. You're down 13-16. Like, they ended that game 3 levels down and a talent tier down. I mean, it was a 15-7 game. I mean, kill wise. I mean, if you look at the piece of paper at the end, you're just like, yeah, Oh My Science should have won that. What happened? It's just like, oh, they wiped at core. Like, whoops.
But will that kill the mental momentum that Oh My Science had going, or will they be able to say, you know what,
shake it
off? And I'm excited because it looks like we're going into Towers of Doom here. And this can be quite the mentally difficult map. If you want to
rush on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, you can't core rush, and you got to keep it together the whole time. So let's see if Oh My Science can come back and take this to a game 3, or whether Team Carbon is just gonna finish them off.
I'm sorry. I keep peeking over at Twitch chat, and just the reactions from that last game, it just caught up, and I peeked over and just the emotes and just my points. It was so good. Oh my god, you killed me.
I'm not gonna lie. I also was watching chat, waiting for that moment, because you just know it's gonna be great.
Oh, so that is going to be game number 1. It went over to Team Carbon. So we're going into game number 2 here is on Towers of Doom. So I assume this is the Met pick of Oh My Science. So that would give first ban, first pick to Team Carbon. Now the question is, like, this map, I mean, I say that there's weird things for every map, but like there's some that stand out a little bit more than others. Like, I honestly think that there's going to be a priority on Chromie on this map, Diablo.
Absolutely.
And then what I'm really curious to see is, do we see a priority on the Medivh? Medivh Vision is very powerful. Leyline Seal is very strong. The overall just poke and interrupt that he has, the backline dig into a potential Chromie is very, very terrifying. So it's just one of those things, like, it really depends on how the draft goes, and maybe they predict the Chromie or if it's picked too early. Those are the things that we can see. And then the other very small chance, Zeratul.
I'd love to see some great Zeratul play coming out here. Do you think Team Carbon will prioritize the Abathur again? Because despite them having won the last game, it didn't seem to really be working quite the way they wanted it to.
Abathur, I think he works really well. I personally don't think it would be a priority this game to pick it 2 games in a row like that. If anything, well, first off, we see the exact same bans coming out from these teams. Doesn't matter the order. But I mean, we've talked about it like almost every game, but I seriously think there should be a priority on Dahaka on this map from both of these teams. Like, I think he's first pick material here, mostly because of the fact of just his threat is, especially on a map like this where there's just so many areas for him to just gank from. There's so many bushes.
Dahaka is so strong. I'm just surprised we haven't even once. But I think that speaks a lot to what I'm starting to really love about competitive Heroes of the Storm is the map. I mean, the hero pool has grown so much, especially in the last year, that you can't really corner out any specific role or even like a global play by bans and picks. There's so much versatility within each role, tank, assassin, mage, healer, and also within the sort of global presence and stuff like that, that picks that you're saying, I feel like this is one of the most powerful picks in the game, will not even show up. And that is so good for the game.
Right. It's absolutely insane. And it was actually, you were talking now. Okay. They did Vala here last time with the ETC, but I got picked up by Team Carbon. So what do they go with, like an Arthas here?
Or do they have a Tassadar?
That's actually a really good choice.
Ooh, they counterpicked the Bright Wings.
I like it. I really
trading teams a bit here.
Just to note, to piggyback off of what you had said, the game growing in the last year, I was talking with someone not long ago, and they were like, they've been slowing down on hero releases. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, so I went back and I sat there and like counted, and I think it was like 3 years ago, it was like they did about a hero a month. And then like 2 years ago, it was like 13 heroes. And then like, I think this year we're ending around 15, 16. Like it's ridiculous how much they've been putting out. And it's been, I mean, we've gotten almost 16 heroes in this year and 2 maps.
I think we're going to have 2 more heroes. Hopefully Anamura will come back.
Come on, just give me like 3 heroes. Give me that crazy Overmind or something.
yeah, I would love to see that. And I think with season 2, it's going to be a great year for supports, and it has medic rework, Malf rework. We've gotten Stukov, we've gotten Lucio, Ana, Cho'Gall coming out of Team Carbon, and a little bit of a pocket pick, maybe a little bit of a targeted at the fact that they were banning Garrosh and Cho'Gall earlier.
Man, I love this. I'm so excited. So at this point, you ban Ariel. You ban Ariel. I mean, you don't. You don't have to take her. There are other options. Greymane, Rhaegar works very well here because it counteracts the Greymane Cursed Bullet, as well as it also counteracts a lot of the poison that you can get out from Malthael. So I'm not saying you have to go Ariel, but it's a really strong combination. And realistically, with a hero who has no mana, to literally just sit on the point and just have Ariel consistently heal you, and you'd never have to leave. Like, Cho'Gall works so well on maps where you have to come fight me. So we often see him on, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Infernal Shrines, Battlefield of Eternity, Towers of Doom, like all these maps, because he's so powerful in these situations. So we see a Malthael ban. They're not afraid of the Greymane because they'll probably go into that Rhaegar.
I'm excited to see what comes out of my science here. If they're going to prioritize now picks that are generally seen as Cho'Gall counters, or if they're just going to keep playing their game. Because like I've said all night, their style has been to ban things they just don't want to deal with and play their own game. And Tassadar, Illidan. So not really. I was looking for Tychus, but they're just right into the maw of the beast.
What? What is this?
It's going to be a solo tank as well. This is going to be great.
I mean, this is just a little bit out there, but do they go into do they go into Artanis?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that they picked up the ETC. So ETC, I assume, it's stage dive, playing that sort of Dahaka role. I think we're gonna look at mage, maybe not, maybe a Zul'jin or something. And I'm trying to think what other support. I think Rhaegar, like you said, or Stukov stick out to me as being the solo healer picks
would be strong enough to keep the Cho'Gall up. Like, it'd be good, but I don't think it'd be the sustain that you would want.
I think it has to be Rhaegar.
You could go Greymane still, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Lucio Falstad. Not a bad idea at all.
So, are they going double global, or are they going to have this CB a Mosh? Lucio early.
There's only two interrupts for Mosh, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
No, I lied. There's 3, because you'd have Reign of Vengeance, Polymorph, and Hunt from Illidan, because it does have a stun off of it. So,
yep.
That would interrupt it.
That Falstad into the Illidan, that's bold. I feel like Illidan just gets all over Falstad and really shuts him down. And Lucio's going to have negligible healing until he gets that Rejuvenescia at 16. But once he does, it's going to put out an insane amount of healing onto Cho'Gall and ETC.
I'm trying to,
I'm thinking just a Muradin pick or something safe here. Arthas Muradin. New Barak.
I was about to say a New Barak. I was like, we've seen a lot of it, and the dive's pretty good. I was like, maybe a New Barak, but then I was also thinking Diablo's a possibility. Very good, just disrupt, control, repositioning. So, but a New Barak will be the priority, and it works out, because if they do go into Falstad Mage build, I believe the Nubarian armor would still be counteracting that, because it is spell damage.
Yeah, for sure. And I almost wonder if Falstad's a bit of a trap. Here's a Falstad, come on in, and then diving into a boop from Lucio, a stun from ETC, and just then you're behind Cho'Gall. It's usually where you don't want to be.
Well, the other thing too is they're going to have the gust for any sort of dive disengage, which would be really good for them. So I think
and
this
for
is
the
really
boss.
Good.
And Mosh for the boss. And you're only looking at, so you have a noob and Brightwing. I think that's a and possibly Reign of Vengeance.
We got 10 seconds or so. Whew.
It's gonna be a great game number 2.
I'm so excited. All right. And in 3. All right, and on the left-hand side, we are going to have Oh My Science with Citru on that Illidan. Troy's going to be on that Vala. Dark Chimera will be on the Brightwing. Battery on that Tassadar, and Hacho is going to be on the Anubarak.
And playing for Team Carbon on the right, Noah on that Legacy on Lucio. Fats playing ETC this game. And we have K-Vin playing Cho'Gall.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Pumpkin Cho'Gall too. Very
spooky. Got that pumpkin skin, which I'm I love it, but I feel like I'm just like, there's so many options. Like, I just wish you would have just gone with so many different things. Either way. Actually, just to note really quick, because I think that at this point they're realistically making just rotations and soaking, so we can kind of just joke around a little bit here. The one thing, like, I kind of wish they did like what Resident Evil did, and they actually put in like low poly versions of like the old characters, so you can make your old like characters look like the classic version. So like you could maybe make it like Warcraft Classic Cho'Gall, like you could just look a little bit. I don't know. It'd be kind of funny. But either way, it looks like in this bottom lane we're just gonna have a little bit of a push here from the Cho'Gall Lucio.
I don't know if you played a lot of Warcraft 3, but my personal favorite bit from Warcraft 3 was the distended jaws that would be awkwardly speaking, not at all to the rhythm of the voices. I miss that. A little bit of me misses that. I still get to see it when Grubby plays some Warcraft 3 on the weekend. It's nice.
It's so funny to see that every so often, just to go back and look at games. It's just like, we've come so far and we were so jaded, so young. Like, I remember talking about graphics, like, it can't get any better than this. And now I'm just like, God, my mind was so narrow when I said
this is the pinnacle of greatness.
But getting into this matchup, at this point in top lane, I mean, you're talking about the Falstad going up against this Illidan. We didn't talk about the fact that Falstad would have a Tassadar with him the entire time, and they already open up this front gate.
Lots of damage coming out there, but then you do have to think about the fact that if they push down the fort, you know, they do regenerate eventually if you can retake it. They're taking early sappers bottom as well. It's looking like they're going to trade the top, which is standard. And actually, ETC has not gotten that top shrine yet. Tassadar is poking him out, it looks like. And Illidan going for Battle Assault. Yeah, he's chasing him away. It looks like Illidan's going for a full team fight build with Battered Assault. He's not going to be focusing on immolation and wave clear. He's just going to be all in on trying to damage out this team from Team Carbon. Somehow, Oh My Science is getting experience leads this early, and I'm wondering how.
Well, they've opened up the top lane a little bit. Their laning has been pretty strong here, but look to see Team Carbon kind of take this back a little bit, because they have that ETC soaking that mid lane and Falstad in that top, but they are going to try and chase down this Cho'Gall a little bit. Looks like they're going to give this up. It was channeled over by the Brightwing and bottom, so they're going to do 8 points of damage to Team Carbon's core, and it looks like Team Carbon will only do 4 points of damage to... Ooh, actually, Noah going to get stunned out of that, or stopped from the heart. They're going to get chased, and Brightwing coming up as well, and that's going to be the kill onto Falstad. This should be this top tower getting converted without contest, realistically.
That was great play from Illidan, and then great communication, and Brightwing realizing that if he teleported in there, they could really solidify the kill, make sure they got the kill and the tower, and stop it from turning into, you know, Illidan diving and getting killed by the tower, which is not at all what you want.
Absolutely. It's you know... To get caught out there while you're hearthing, it's like the worst feeling. You're just like, he's out of range. Nope, he's on top of me. I'm dead. There's Brightwing.
Yeah, if I just backed a little bit more.
If I had just gone into, like, you know, the range of the death line, or, you know, where the towers, you know, shoot the enemy heroes or minions. So it's just one of those things, you're just like, I just wish I went a little bit further. But either way, actually, Troy taking quite a bit of damage here from Lucio and Cho'Gall chasing him down. But we do have a Nubrak currently burrowing in, trying to get onto Legacy. We do have Fats diving in as well. We do also have the Brightwing coming in with the vision for the team, and it looks like they just make the disengage. They pull the Brightwing down, but at this point, Noah's been pushed back just by this Illidan so bad the entire time in that top lane.
Oh my goodness, the combo coming out of Velvet, nearly taking out. Gonna note that Cho'Gall did a great job zoning out the team before and keeping that Lucio alive, but you can see the amount of damage that Vala can just dish out onto Lucio with the Hungering Arrow, Vault Reset, Hungering Arrow is terrifying. And there's not much to mitigate it.
And the crazy thing, too, is it's only going to get more powerful from the scaling within the game itself, as well as the fact is she's only at 60 stacks out of 100, and it's 5 per stack, but still, it's going to be terrifying. Actually, going up against this Cho'Gall, they might be able to, burn down the Lucio very quickly, actually separating himself from the Cho'Gall here, but Troy's going to go ahead and play it safe. Gonna just back off, get some auto attacks off as they go into their gate, but Brightwing actually going to come down here. I don't think they have the poke. Actually, Tassadar will.
And Cho'Gall putting out a ton of damage, waiting for ETC to get down here, and I assume Falstad will be flying momentarily. Wonder if Cho'Gall needs to go back. Oh, no, they're just going to let that go over to Oh My Science. Now, Oh My Science with a 14-shot lead and about a full level lead, about to turn over their heroic abilities, and I assume they're going to start to want to force the issue either top or mid and take another keep here once they have those heroics.
Realistically, I would think you'd prioritize the bottom as to what I had mentioned in one of the other games. I think when I was talking about Tires of Doom is just the fact that, you know, holding over that bottom is just really, really strong. It makes it hard for the team to rotate into position, but it looks like they're going to go once again and put a lot of pressure into this top lane. Falstad did stay in top during that entire time, was working down the fort, making sure that they get it converted, get the experience as well, get themselves closer to 10s. And realistically, they had to give those over because 10s were so close that if they gave over a little bit of a fight, or they, you know, if it happened midway through the fight, that definitely would have been going way in favor of Oh My Science here. But Team Carbon playing the smart game. They're going to get a little bit of sieging down in this bottom lane with the Cho'Gall, and if they can get this and open this up and start putting in sappers, this game can start to switch momentum very quickly.
An interesting choice. They have the Twisting Nether coming out of Twilight Hammer is the standard choice on Cho, but that is the big circular AoE that detonates and does a lot of magic damage. So let's see if they can use that to their advantage on these small area team fights. Wow, Illidan being so aggressive.
I know, I'm keep like peeking at bottom lane. I'm like, is someone to come up from bottom, or are they going to fight in bottom? Like, what's going to be happening? Brightwing going to be coming into this top lane though at this point, because the two altars are up here, just going ahead and pushing up this lane, making sure that they get a little bit of posturing and advantage on the side of Oh My Science. Now, Team Carbon going to go ahead and slow down the rotation from Hotcho. We do have the Illidan going ahead and trying to get the initial charge, but Fats is going to start that out. Going to get stalled out by the Tassadar here. Looks like Vala will go ahead and get the left-hand side, so at this point they're going to need to just go ahead and try and get this over. Tassadar delaying these out till the literal last second so they can soak up a little bit more experience. No, actually, they just give these over at this point. Okay. They back off. I saw them rotating into the mid lane. I'm like, no, they give over the shots, and they're going to just start to work on these sappers and probably open up bottom a little bit for themselves.
I'm thinking the thought process there is 36 to 22. We can take one-for-one trades all day, and that end up with, your core at 0. So, just play. Again, that has been one of the hallmarks of Oh My Science tonight. They may have had a couple missed calls on the core, but overall their ability to analyze when to press their advantage and when to just sort of know when to take an even trade, they have really good shot calling in that aspect.
No, absolutely. The synergy for this team has been very strong, as we've noted throughout this night. It honestly seems like when they're taking deaths, they're taking calculated deaths, as I've heard it called. But now we also have to consider the fact that last game we can't call that a calculated death. They just ended up getting kind of wiped out on that core rush that they were trying. But either way, it looks like this is a completely different game from them. They're playing. You had noted, how does the mental state going into this game actually affect them? And realistically, it looks like they've bounced back from it. They still have their lead here. Tassadar rotating down for a little bit of help with this Vala, and Anubrak gonna actually get hit by the Cho Twilight Hammer there. Twisting Nether still available. Sapper will go in and do a little bit of damage, but at this point they're gonna need to get some help before they realistically try and go for the Salter. And
during all that, I don't know if you, but Illidan actually took the top sapper camp and managed to sneak one of the sappers through. Hunt coming in on Shroom while he's down here at half health, but a nice power slide phase melt disengaged by ETC. That was extremely good play coming out of Fats.
Absolutely. And the other thing to note here is while they push forward there with that hunt and everything, Tassadar snuck down, got 4 more shots onto the core of Team Carbon there. And realistically, we're looking this game could end very quickly if they get a couple sappers in, they get a boss here, but a little bit of a fight currently happening. We do have Cho'Gall going on to Troy here. That will be the kill on to Vala. Now, Fats is going to be on this point. The web wrap does go out. Falstead is here. They have the gust. No, there's a couple more seconds till they have it. Emerald Wood will be used, but it ends up pushing people into the corner. They will go ahead and steal this over, and if they can burn down the fort here, they'll get quite a bit of value, but it looks like they'll just go ahead and let them walk in naturally.
Yeah, Team Carbon getting some footing, but will it be too little too late? 12 shots, you're staring down the barrel of the gun at lethal. If you're at 4 forts each, one double swan plus a boss play, and this game is over for you. But like we said, this is why we love Towers of Doom. It's all about how you play. You're never out of it completely. You just have to... You can't really just win on a botched core call either, though. You need to play cool and collected for the remainder of the game if you want to make sure you come back. And a boss play unnoticed coming out of Oh My Science, and just 4 more shots on the core. Seems like they know exactly what they have to do to finish this game out.
They're setting up a win condition. Yes, they've lost their bottom fort. Illidan has been taking that camp and just pushing in top, but if they can get these 3 sappers in, it's a little bit more onto the core. It's going to be very beneficial for them, but we do have a lot of the members dedicating themselves down to this bottom lane, trying to just push this back. We have Brightwing in mid, just able to Z in at any moment. We have Illidan in top getting that camp. This is a triple altar phase here, so if they do get all 3 on the side of Oh My Science, they will be ending the game, even with just 3 shots. Looks like this sapper camp will be burned down quite quickly, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see them kind of back off here, especially with 16s already achieved on the side of Oh My Science, and it's a 3v4 currently.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how Team Carbon plays this out. Looks like they're just going to try to pressure here, but they need to make sure that they're careful and keeping their eyes on the altars. It looks like they're going to allow the top go over, or was it actually poked out? Oh, ETC coming in with a nice stage dive. Illidan going in. The gun. It looks like he got stopped up on the doodad.
The corner of that wall just kind of held him there. He didn't get pushed into the area that they were hoping for, and Illidan getting a lot of this healing. Now Falstead will utilize the barrel. There is also the barrel break it down used, but actually ETC going to be dying here. We do have Hachu here, so they do have the able to kind of dive away there. Cho'Gall is actually falling really low there. Illidan's actually going to die, and it looks like they'll be able to take this over. I think he tapped well, so he'll be able to come back and kind of zone here. And at this point, yeah, they're going to get 5 more shots onto the core of Oh My Science here. And so this is what we had kind of joked about. I mean, this is that 5-22 moment where you're like, is this really happening? Are we starting to lose this game? And we currently have Hacho taking quite a bit of damage from Legacy. There is the dive in from Cho'Gall. Looks like Vala will be taking quite a bit. There is the phase shift in from Brightwing, and they'll be able to get out of there. Now, Cho'Gall in a little bit of a bad position, able to get the charge for the unstoppable here, and just going to get right out of there with the charging fist.
Yeah, I think that's worth noting that, well, they actually have a level lead here on Team Carbon, and that 16 tier is so good for Cho. That unstoppable on the wind up on your fist is crazy powerful. I mean, look, it's 6 straight seconds basically of being cleansed. It's really scary, and he's being very aggressive with it. But what can Team Carbon do to make sure that they stay in this? They just have to take every team fight from here on out. Big stage dive coming in for Vets. 3-member power slide into the gust into the corner. A new Brightwing stuck in the corner, but Nubrak going to make a nice disengage. Falstad barrel rolls over the wall, and Brightwing's going to ice block, but it's just going to delay the inevitable. And as I say it, the events come true. They got to take every team fight from here on out, but at this point in the game, staggered deaths, 40, 45-second death timers. They're making it happen.
This is the time when it's going to happen. Now, top lane, we have to note, Illidan, once again, getting that keep converted over. Now, the one thing I just want to know, did you know, fun fact, I always like somehow find these out, and I don't know how, but I just end up learning them over time. Like, did you know that the towers all convert from fort damage and health and scaling once the center point warp is opened up?
No, I didn't. So they...
Yeah. So they literally all become keeps once they open up the center teleport to the center of the battleground, and when they announce and everything, they change scaling and damage. And I was just like, it's one of those things. So it's just like, it's always just like, it's like, all right, so they just have a little bit more value experience-wise. Now, we do have a web wrap going out of the Cho'Gall. We do have a hunt in onto the Lucio here. Cho'Gall not out of the web wrap just yet. We do have a stage dive in from the ETC trying to delay battery here, but it looks like Cho'Gall gonna be able to use the Twilight Dream. They're twisting another. They're gonna get the Vala here. Do they get the Illidan? Looks like they will not. Falstad just gonna kind of float up in the air for a few seconds. And it looks like this ETC really wants to chase him, and they actually gave up the core shots, I do believe. So at this point, it's 1-22.
Oh, this is a 1-0 core game. Same as 22, I guess, as long as you haven't lost yet. That was so interesting. I don't know exactly what prevented Lucio from using his sound barrier to save himself. I was really waiting for it. I didn't see if he began to channel and was stunned, but unfortunate. I think if he got that off, that fight would have gone strongly in favor of Team Carbon.
Now the question is, do they just really start to posture around this boss? And it looks like they're doing kind of that. They do not want to lose to this condition.
I think they have to take it immediately.
They're going to start it, and if
they do
lose this over, now they are very close to 20s, and it looks like ETC will go ahead and just kind of get a couple minion kills, and that will push them right over. Not enough though. There it is.
I think this is a brilliant call though.
It's good. They can see that the enemy team is a bottom, clearing out this fort. They're evening up those tower shots. It really doesn't matter, but it just holding over that lane is a little bit stronger. They take the win condition off the board for oh my science.
Yeah, I think at this point, even if they're going to contest, you have to do it. Just because if you get a bottom altar spawn, I mean, you can't both simultaneously contest the boss and take the bottom altar. So, and with one shot, you're just sort of, your hand is forced, but it works out for Team Carbon in this situation. Oh, Polymorph and Forcewall going on the false side. He's going to be caught with the sound barrier coming out just the right moment, and the stage dive. Illidan's going to get stunned, but Falstad does end up falling. Cho'Gall's going to be on the back end pursuing this Illidan, though. Let's see if Illidan can get out, and he makes a quick escape.
Right over that wall there, and we actually have ETC taking quite a bit of damage here. He will be falling. The Force Wall does go out. It will be currently blocking them from leaving. Legacy going to be dying to the Brightwing, actually. Cho'Gall trying to get around, but the Force Wall is put up once again, and the Polymorph, the Force Walls, GGs are already thrown out, and that is going to be game number 2 going over to Oh My Science, and we're going to go into a game number 3 here. We got a series.
Game number 3. I am really excited. Team Carbon showing so many signs of life, and with an odd comp, I'm really curious where we're going to end up map-wise and composition-wise here for this last game of the night. I'm just getting more and more excited every single game.
Dragonshire. That's my prediction. Ooh. We're going to go to Dragonshire.
I would love a Dragonshire. We'll basically continue our tour of the Nexus. And Dragonshire is a lot like Cursed Hollow in that it's practice. It's one of the most practiced maps. Everyone's been playing it since the very beginning. And I love the dynamic of Dragonshire as well. There's usually the 4-man rotation on bot and mid, but it's not about one objective spawning and everyone going to it like to Spider Queen. It's about controlling the map as a whole and control all 3 of those areas, and you can push through with it. And I think that watching All My Sciences play, I think Team Carbon might want to take them there, because Dragonshire is one of those maps that lends itself to a more controlled play, and it doesn't get so wildly out of control.
The macro that you can get on that map is really, really strong. So I absolutely think that's a pretty good place where we can go into. Even then, like Cursed Hollow, that's available. I don't think we've casted on that tonight. What else am I forgetting? Blackheart's Bay isn't in it, is it?
Blackheart's Bay, I don't think is in the competitive rotation.
All right, we're going into Cursed. Yay!
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason Blackheart's Bait's one of those things, like I know it was in the rank rotation, but I just wasn't sure if it had made it into the HGC for some weird reason. But I know it was like ages ago, but no. But hey, but it looks like we are going to Cursed Hollow. So touring the Nexus this evening.
Yeah, I'm just glad that Blackheart's Bay I can deal with. I'm just glad there's no Haunted Mines. Please.
I think Haunted Mines is fun.
I just hate it at this point. I used to be a little bit I used to give a little room to Haunted Mines, but now I just can't stand it. Just the fact that you can ignore the objective and just take camps all game and it be so beneficial. It's like the camp.
I mean, Blackheart's Bay, you never really have to technically go past midway point.
Same exact.
You never have to see the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll just be over here getting rich. Thank you.
Yeah, I just let me go get my coins. Once I hit 100, I get the special mountain game. And then
exactly. Cursed Hollow. We were raving about it before. I'm so excited to see the compositions coming out. I'm so excited to see.
Now here, I think we actually, I think we see a potential Abathur again from either team, realistically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Abathur or let's see. So this was Carbon's pick. I'm curious. Are we ever going to see a Daka pick? I feel like Daka is strong into the Abathur as well, just being able to soak that lane, and the curse points are all surrounded by bushes. He makes some really good plays just popping up as Daka.
Looks like we're gonna have a quick little adjustment. There we go. All right. I don't want to cheese. I don't want to see chat. Exactly. But it looks like, all right, looks like we should be all set up for this. No big deal. I love this map. It's going to be a great time. And the draft here is just going to be, I'm just ready.
I think I can predict, summoning my psychic powers, I foresee Medic Garrosh bans coming out for the first round. I would like to know what sort of trauma my Science experienced in the past that made them so adverse to Garrosh. And I'm also curious to see if they adjust their bans, if Team Carbon will immediately jump on that. I don't think they're gonna adjust their bans. It's so instant. They had a serious drama in some previous games or scrims recently, I imagine.
I mean, well, the thing is, like, Garrosh is really strong for repositioning, and like on maps, like, I mean, any map where there's like a terrain and you have to fight over it, if he launches your teammate over that wall, the rotation they're gonna have to make back into the fight is just gonna be a nuisance and absolutely just not something that you're going to want to deal with. And just overall, he technically has a self cleanse at 4. Like he has a team taunt at 10. Like it's no, just take him away. Like, yeah, he's just too strong.
I think you hit on something there. Seeing the hover here. It's a Greymane hover for the ban coming out. We'll see if that changes. But to hit on what you said, Greymane ban coming out, assuming we still have all my Science on the left, and I like to use Garrosh for just what you said. The combo into your team or behind the wall is extremely strong, but just repositioning a tank out of the fight over the wall, so strong. So Greymane ban Muradin first pick. Let's see if the prophecy will come true and the war chief will show his face. Seems like almost a challenge.
Garrosh Stukov?
Garrosh Stukov. That is,
Garrosh
I love that combo. I love the Garrosh Stukov, just right into the lurking arm.
Even then, just the lurking arm for the interrupt on the tribute point, lurking arm on the boss capture. If you do go and do like a Tyrael or anything like that, you can't utilize like a Sanctification, Emerald Wind, or the Eldurin's Might, or, all those things. So absolutely, I think I personally, like, in my own ranking, I put Stukov way up there just because I think he's just very strong and he works with so many compositions.
Yeah, I like Stukov too. He has such versatile builds too. I think tonight we've seen a lot of like more pustule oriented builds, but that you could go full arm. Genji Abathur, straight off the bat.
Pick?
Yeah, that's.
I have to rub my eyes. Is this Christmas? What?
Yeah, it's mid-season brawl all over. That's his Brightwing. Nice counter pick to the Genji.
Absolutely.
Plus the global pressure. I mean, incredible pick, almost obvious, but they jumped right on it.
Do they just? No, it's way too early. I was like, do they pick up a Falstead for more just disengage? I'm like, no. There's dive, but I don't know if it's worth picking that up. So they go for Zarya. That's not a bad idea.
I like that. So they'll probably have a solo support Brightwing with Zarya acting as that pseudo second support. Yeah, Tassadar sort of.
The other
role.
thing to consider too is that she has really, really good poke with the grenades. I honestly wouldn't be too surprised to potentially see a Chromie pick up on the side of Oh My Science. Realistically, I think it would work with their composition. It works on the map. Realistically, that maybe they just pick up some other range damage. They could pick up a Vala here for some more poke too. The draft on Oh My Science is very open, and it's going to be kind of hard to target a ban at this point on the side of Team Carbon. Realistically, you just take out something that you don't want to deal with or you know is strong on this map.
I almost wonder like if there's some kind of cheese coming out because they've been so steadfast with the Garrosh. I guess Greymane is what turned their core throw game into going the other way, but the Zarya makes me think it because Zarya is sort of prevalent when you're looking at the Warhead boss cheese. That's one thing she does extremely well is you get feel the heat and then you have her just run into those towers and she does an insane amount of output. We'll see.
ETC ban here. So Vala ban, not a bad idea. We had kind of just noted that a little bit. You know, the things that could be taking in these 4 or 5 slots on the side of Oh My Science. And then the ETC ban, they picked up the Genji and Abathur in the 1-2 slot. So taking away a high priority tank here, not a bad idea. And I like this. They go for the ETC over the Garrosh. ETC is stronger on this map because the fact that he has the option to go global at 10.
Yeah, and also the thing about Oh My Science's draft is they're not showing much. They're not showing like an Illidan or some sort of strong auto attacker that you could pick an Arthas or something here. You make a strong counter pick. There's not a lot of counterplay to what's going on for Oh My Science. So by the time Carbon locks in these 3-4 picks, it's too late. Oh My Science is going to get what they want unless they just happen to pick them out from under them. Cassia Rhaegar.
So to note actually exactly what you're talking about, the auto attack, I mean, it looks like that's what they're going to be going for. They go basically blindly into hoping that they can utilize the blinds. But the other thing that you have to consider is that Cassia does have good poke. Mm-hmm. She is also very good with the ball lightning. It can be really good if a team does clump up quite a bit. We don't ever really see Valkyrie, but it's an option. So
it can work. Yeah, ball lightning is so strong. It makes you play totally different.
Especially it peels the enemy team away because they have to separate because, you know, they all kind of just, they do that kind of just, oh no, ball lightning, we have to separate.
And then you can do the old 2 people by accident. And
exactly. It's like what you get when it's like, you know, if you ever jump on like a Smurf account and you just see people like spreading Kael'thas chain bombs. Like my friend was playing on one once and he was just like, dude, this is just like this is just mean. Like I shouldn't be doing this because people just like, so you can sit there and just, you know, you see things differently. But Gul'dan Lucio being picked up here. So hyper carry Gul'dan.
Yeah, extremely resilient team. Sorry for shielding. She'll be having output, and then Johanna to synergize with the Cassia pick. But will Genji be able to even get in on this Gul'dan?
I don't know. I fear this draft for Team Carbon. I agree. One of the other maps, because there's only 2 maps in the game that have 2 bosses. you have 0 boss control, and the other team has double boss control. You have Emerald Wind and Horrify, and technically, actually, excuse me, I lied.
Expulsion Zone.
You also have Expulsion Zone, and then let's go further. Earlier, we had a Haymaker, so that's an option too. So it's just like there's a lot of control on the side of Oh My Science, and I'd kind of be scared if I was Team Carbon.
Yeah, and it seems boss control oriented. It seems like that's what they're going to focus on. And honestly, they don't have to worry about the team fight too much because of the Abathur pick. They should be relatively comfortable, at least until level 10.
Absolutely. We'll go into this in about 5 or so seconds here. All right, on the left-hand side, we have Oh My Science with a Dark Chimera on that Brightwing. We have Hacho on the Muradin. On Zara, we have the See-Through. Troy 101 is going to be on that Gul'dan, and every time, excuse me, even in Death Battery is going to be on the Lucio.
And on the right side, for Team Carbon in the red, we have Caesar Salad on Johanna, Vin playing Cassia. We've got Noah on the Abathur, and Fat's back on the Genji, where he was game 1, and we have Legacy playing Rhaegar, getting into game 3 and the deciding game for tonight on Cursed Hollow.
I'm ready for this. I'm ready, and we currently have a 3v3 in this bottom lane. Looks like Genji will be going up against the Muradin in mid, and we actually have an Abathur versus Brightwing in top. That's very interesting. But either way, we have a little bit of an engagement here. Not anything crazy happening, so we can just take a peek at some of the level 1 talents. Like, realistically, like Fellflame build from the Gul'dan, pretty strong. We have grenade build from the Zaryas. Brightwing's going to be going into that phase shift cooldown reduction. I mean, nothing crazy, honestly, from any of these team members.
Yeah, I like seeing charge strikes coming out of Cassia. A lot of people have been playing with the Lightning Fury talents, but I still feel like charge strikes is one of the strongest talents in the game. Actually, and just displaying it there, putting out an absolute ton of damage on Zarya and Battery at the same time.
I know it's this honestly, this bottom lane is pretty strong on the side of Team Carbon, and realistically, this is anybody's game. I mean, whoever wins this over is, the winner of, HeroesHype Amateur Series week number 84. So we do have a pull in from Caesar Salad, but it looks like they'll be able to get out of here. Just stacking up as we go throughout this. Actually, Vin taking quite a bit of damage here. I don't think the healing will be enough, and Cassie will be the first death of the game.
That was a huge corruption coming out of Troy there.
That was really good, and that's something that they're going to need to worry about as this game progresses here. The poison damage that comes out from Gul'dan is going to be absolutely devastating, and when you have Lucio just passively healing him the entire time and Zarya shielding him when necessary, it's hard to kind of try and pick him off here.
Yeah, and look at this push coming out of Zarya. That's what I was... She just walks into the towers, takes a lot of damage on her shield on purpose, and gets all charged up, and even without Feel the Heat, she's just outputting an absolute ton of damage onto those forts.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we have to note here is that there is a ton of just lane clear that they have as well. Now, conveniently for the global character, it is as close as possible to them, so there looks like it'll just be the Brightwing staying in that top lane, while Abathur will go ahead, shift down to the bottom with the siege camp, so that's going to be a good pressure for him as well. That's the best situation, realistically, for an Abathur here. Battery will go ahead and start to channel this. It looks like it will be actually the Shuriken Blast will be blocked by that Brightwing, and they go ahead and they steal over this first point.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that Oh My Science didn't opt to go for the Giants at minutes, with common strategy. You go for the Giants at 2 minutes and hope that the tribute spawns on the opposite side of the map. Team Carbon may have given up that first tribute, but look at Abathur down there just getting tons of value with the siege camp, and Brightwing's global is dependent on a hero being there, so she's just walking her butt slowly down there.
Absolutely. That's the exactly, just like it's just such a long rotation, because like it's like you can
no
give
mount.
yourself there's no Mel. I mean, like, you can give yourself pixie dust. There's some speed boost with that, but realistically,
7 pixie dust later.
Yeah. So at this point, though, we do currently just have, it looks like they just took that 3-man and put them into the top lane. Now, I have a feeling that it's just going to be bottom lane. I have this feeling that it's just going to be like bottom right or left. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and take out the well in the bottom lane, really taking out the lane sustain for Team Carbon. And it looks like we're going to actually have this in the top right position. So this is going to be best cased for that Brightwing. Same with Abathur, but he did get pushed back a little bit here, so that's something that's going to, he'll have to build up a little bit over time. Still, either way, it looks like we've got about a level difference here, even talent tiers, though.
Yeah, this is the most favorable spawn for Team Carbon, so it's interesting to see what's going to happen here. Johanna popping her Iron Skin very early. Back line. He's dishing out a lot of damage himself with the charge strike. Caesar Salad moving in again, gets cleanse. Zarya low, but at full energy, Caesar Salad's going to fall, and Vin is also low. He's turning around. Muradin with a 3-man stun on his Dwarf Toss. Cassia falling. Genji dashing out. Legacy very nearly going down. Whew. Nice dodge on the grenade there.
Looks like they go ahead and they get out of there, but they will steal the curse away. Now, the one thing, I saw it happen and I didn't have talents up, and I was just like, wait, what? He took heavy impact at 7. Yep. And I was just like, why? But hey, I mean, when you're using it like that for that engage and you have your team backing you up as they have been, I mean, absolutely, because whenever I play like games solo, I'm just like, utilize it as a disengage. Don't trust your teammates because you can't talk to anyone. You don't know if it's, you want to try and save it as a disengage just so your team knows, or at least you have an out. But here, when you're on communication with your team, it's obviously a different level of play. So utilizing that as an engage and then chasing after potentially getting that Rhaegar kill would have been so beneficial. But it looks like our third tribute is in the bottom left position. Brightwing in a really good spot for this, as well as that 3-man. Just realistically, Team Carbon's kind of set for it too, but they're giving this over, I think.
They gotta give this up. Their heroics are just going over to Oh My Science. And they're going to go straight for the boss, which I think is smart. They know they're going to get cursed. The top boss should mitigate some of the push coming out from the creeps there. And just to note, and they're going to trade bosses, it looks like it. Just to note, and very smart play by Oh My Science. Take the boss first, then take the tribute. I try to make this work in Hero League all the time. People have a very difficult time understanding this concept. But take the boss first, then get the tribute, then you get the massive damage out of there. But actually, did they make a mistake? I was going to say, if Genji could poke them out in time for the heroics, they may have made a mistake, but that's always the wise thing to do. You're always going to get more value there. Speaking to your Muradin point earlier, I play a ton of Muradin. I love Muradin. I've been messing with the new build. And I agree. Heavy Impact, the thing is, Heavy Impact used to be on 16, so it would almost be unpickable. But now on level 7, I feel like it really plays to the main tank stun you Muradin. At least how I've been playing with it. It's great. You can go the damage, but it's also great. We got Caesar Salad actually engaging. We have the dragon. Oh, but a big horrifying Emerald Wind actually overlapping and an Ancestral coming out onto Fats. The clone's going to go down. Caesar Salad backing up. Vin taking a lot of damage, getting cleansed. Fats still on the back line. And the Abathur is going to take out the Gul'dan with the hat damage, I think. But Vin's taking a ton of damage. Can they get this counter kill onto Muradin? Johanna's super low. Cassie's super low. This is a crazy fight. Genji's still just wreaking havoc on the back line. Full energy Zarya. And this boss is going to be able to take a keep. Like I said, that insane value coming out by taking the boss first, then taking the tribute. Oh My Science is really taking a nice commanding lead here. Push.
My mouth is just open. Like, what? They go keep 8 minutes into the game and they get such a value from that push. And looking at mid lane here, they're definitely going to be just jumping into this point right away and just making sure that they go ahead and get it.
Yeah, just they know when to take their value. They were willing to trade. Like you said before, calculated deaths. I'm saying, wow, Genji's really wreaking havoc on the backline here. Like, I wonder is going to be a turnaround for Team Carbon. The whole time, All My Science is probably in comments saying, guys, this is great. We're about to take a keep. 1 death, 2 deaths. Who cares? We're going to take a keep and take this game by just maintaining our level and talent lead the whole time. 0 out of 3 curses for each team, but I think that they're just going to try to pressure with Mercs and play safe. I mean, what they've been doing best tonight is playing safe and really not making mistakes. They don't make these glaring mistakes that often haunt other teams. One person caught out of position. It seems like that is a result of their communication. I just feel like their communication and team synergy is really next level.
Absolutely. You know, these teams have been doing such a good job of just making sure that they're on point with it. Just, you know, like, we're here, we're doing this. Like, you consistently see Brightwing go into that top lane. She's making sure that, you know, they get the push, and then just either hearthing or just Zing into the friendly team as needed. Like, they're utilizing this Brightwing as if, you know, how we had talked about Dahaka throughout. A lot of these teams are utilizing Brightwing that way at this point, and I guess if that's the way that things seem to be shifting, hey, there we go.
Yeah, I agree. And similar, they can both clear extremely well. And I think that has to do with the Brightwing shielding talents on phase shift that are coming in. But it looks like Carbon's going to be looking for an engagement here. Again, an early Iron Skin coming out of Johanna. Drain Life coming down. Dragon Blade coming, doing a lot of damage on Lucio. Oh, the Chain Lightning doing so much damage. Zarya taking a ton of damage. We have the Sound Barrier coming out. Ancestral onto Fats. Noah taking a lot of damage on the clone. But Zarya is going to fall, and that's going to offer up a reset for Genji. Rhaegar falling to Gul'dan, and look at the health bars. 23 health coming out of Johanna. This Gul'dan just is able to dish out so much hero damage in these fights. It's crazy. Let's see, he's already up at 30,000 hero damage. Well, Cassie's keeping up, but it just seems like in the nature of these bottlenecked fights, the Gul'dan value is shining.
No, that back and forth was absolutely insane. Looks like we're having just OC numpad. Dang it. But at this point, it looks like, go ahead and try and lock on. There we go. So either way, it looks like we do have the members currently just rotating onto this boss realistically, and they're going to go ahead and burn this down quite quickly.
Yeah, I think it's going to just be a boss trade here again.
Oh, okay. If you wouldn't mind just kind of give me a little play-by-play.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, there's going to be tribute spawning top. I think that Team Carbon is going to be willing to give this up for the boss defense bottom, but in all honesty, the value for Oh My Science is not going to come out of this boss unless they take the core. I mean, they need to take either the core or significant damage onto it, but then again, there's 4 members here, and the Brightwing's going to be able to rotate in. The Image Genji coming out, and then Dragon Blade immediately. Nice protect off, and then into the Ancestral. Zarya taking a lot of damage again, but Genji taking almost full HP damage. Oh, these fights are insane. Legacy low. Hacho taking a ton of damage. Cassia falling. Fats trying to do as much work as he can on the backline, but it's looking like Caesar Salad's also going to fall. And Oh My Science, I believe, is going to take it this time. No core throw this time. They have the members and they have the damage, and that's it. They're going to take game 3 and the series for tonight. Congratulations to Oh My Science. I mean, we've been following them all night, and just absolutely immaculate play coming out of
that.
Just
was
beautiful.
That was a phenomenal back and forth in that game. I absolutely loved it. Sorry, I was asking you for a little bit of play by play because I was talking with someone we're working with, and just it was like their camera was locking into Cassie, and so I was just like, try this. They're like, I've tried everything, and I'm like, I don't know what else to do. Like at this point, because like it's the Blizzard just make us. That's there you go. After all this tonight, the one thing I want at BlizzCon, just announce a new obs thing. Like make something special for me so I can finally cast. Like,
yeah, I know.
It was a phenomenal back and forth. But tonight, overall, I mean, Oh My Science just showing up and absolutely just dominating, dropping one game this entire evening. And it looks like we're going to get set up to interview one of the members from Oh My Science.
Excellent. And I wonder if, this team, I don't know many of the members other than Battery is the only name that stands out to me, but I wonder if Battery's influence in the HGC or his experience in the HGC has crafted a lot of just the coordination of this team and knowing how those professional HGC teams work as far as communication, shot calling, and team structure. I mean, it seems to really be working for them. They are looking like a top-notch team, very well-polished strategies, extremely well-polished team fight execution. I'm just rewatching this final team fight
It's
on the VOD, and
control.
It's just so well timed out. There was a one overlapped ult when there was an Emerald Wind combined with a Horrify, but it didn't even matter. I mean, nothing that is actually nothing that's actually hurting them. So, I mean, they just have to sort out those core calls. But other than that, I think that's just something that happens. I don't think it's an act. I don't feel like that's a persistent team issue. That just happens to have happened twice in the night.
The other thing to note too is, I had done a little bit of casting in the HGC Open and stuff, and I've talked to other people, and it just the meticulous way they practice these maps. But it looks like we are going to have an interview with actually Troy 101. Never mind. He just left. They were saying, go ahead and just let us know when you're ready to pull him in. All right. So it looks like either we'll be ready. Okay. We'll let him, we'll just say we're ready. We'll go ahead and we're going to bring in Troy 101 here. Well, hello and congratulations on your win. How do you feel?
Hey, I feel great. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my God. We have been talking, we've been talking about you guys basically all night because we've been obviously casting you, but just the plays that you guys have been making, the synergy, the communication. I mean, we got to ask you some questions here if you don't mind.
Oh, snap. I'm ready. I mean, always could be better, but hey, fuck it. That's impressive, right?
I mean, what stood out to me was game one. That composition was so incredibly aggressive. Is that something you guys practiced a lot with the Tracer Lucio Kerrigan, just absolutely taking those early aggressive kills? Is that something you like just for Infernal Shrines, or?
It's something I like to do is, well, actually, I don't know if I want to spoil any of my drafting techniques, but yeah, we do a bit of everything to answer. Yeah, we do a bit of everything. The thing is, I don't like to draft teams that I haven't done in scrims before, and we've done that one before. It was pretty effective. The way it works is Tracer herds everybody in because nobody wants to be poked by the Tracer. They take solace next to other enemies. That's perfect for the fucking Kerrigan combo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because most of your other play for the rest of the night seemed a lot more methodical and controlled, and that composition was so volatile, but you guys executed it like it was terrifying to watch. 29 kills to 1 at the end. I mean,
yeah, I think it was like 28, 29. That was
and normally on paper you look at
19.
That. Hey, you look on paper and say, "No, this doesn't work." But
yeah, people. I mean, it's we'll keep practicing and seeing how we can improve it. I'm sure there's a couple things we could do better, but yeah, it's been working, right?
Now on the Towers of Doom game, take you back a little bit farther forward down the timeline here. When the Cho'Gall got pulled out here. Was it something that you guys expected, or how does that change your draft at that point? I mean, did you guys expect it? Were you guys like, if they take it, do we just take this? Like, did you have things in place? I know I'm kind of just like tell me all your draft secrets, but like
nobody called it out. It was a surprise. I was really considering between. I know Stitches is really good on that map. He's also good versus the Cho'Gall because he can eat 2 people at once. Yum yum, right? But I went with the Nubarak instead because we didn't have any follow-up for the Stitches stun in the composition already. And, it worked out. I think we could have done better, though. Like, the fact that it got to level 20, it was at that point, like, it's Towers of Doom. You usually do get to level 20, and that's scary with a Cho'Gall on the enemy team,
Right? Ooh.
But,
especially with that... reduce the timer or just anything you can really realistically take at 20 it's just terrifying.
Oh man, I remember the Gall got the level 20 to blink into me, and I was so scared, dude. He fucking bumped towards me, he fucking flashed at me. I was like, oh snap, I'm out of here. I'm not taking this. I'm not into this. Let's get out.
You were the focus quite a bit on that, especially whenever the Twisting Nether was out.
Did you see the time I got one shot, dude? I had full health.
I did see that. Yeah.
Oh,
Twisting Nether does a ton of damage. And what I want to ask about that game is after the Sky Temple game, when you guys had the really close core call, and then they managed to turn around and take the core themselves. Is that something where you guys were like tilting a bit, or were you able to just get in comms and say, okay, it was just a narrow miss, let's just take it to the next game and make it happen? Because that's a difficult thing to do. Everyone's like wishes they could say they do that, but I know as soon as it happens to me, I just go right over the edge.
We're a very mature team. Everyone in the group sort of has this mentality where you're just like, you're here to win. If you play well, that's what counts. Like if you play well, you will eventually be to the top. So like, heck, on that point though, oh dear Lord, I can't believe I got hurted by the Muradin towards the fountain. That was a huge mistake on my part. I'm pretty sure we would have been able to core if I hadn't done that. Like,
I mean, it was only 7%. Usually when you go back and that, you actually, there's so many things that you could have done, but it seemed close. We both couldn't believe it, and we couldn't believe that they actually made the counter call and burned you guys down so fast.
I remember somebody was lingering behind, and I had a sigh of relief, but they still did it. I was like, oh snap. Yeah. That was, I mean, and I think taking it to Towers of Doom after that, not here. It's not going to happen here. Well, that's not why we did it, but it makes sense.
Still a great map. And then finally, just for me, I got to talk about this past game. The first pick, Abathur Genji, you saw it in I believe the first game, which was on the Sky Temple, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just when that popped up in the 1-2 slot, was that something you were like, all right, we have to deal with this now? Or were you just like, you know what, we have a composition in mind, let's run that. Maybe we need to adjust it as the draft goes on.
I was fully expecting it. That's why I banned Greymane and then took Muradin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they didn't have the Greymane, they didn't have the Muradin. Like we were ready for it.
That's interesting, because you guys were stark against Garrosh all night, and we won't make you reveal too much. But I asked Bahamut as the game started. I said, if they don't ban Garrosh, do you think that Team Carbon will snap pick Garrosh? He said, I don't know, but they didn't seem interested. So
it's not his best map, and we're still planning to learn against Garrosh. The issue is a lot of the times we don't get to fight Garrosh in our scrims, so like it's hard to like get used to that hero. And we're I just realized when we were doing scrims that like we're just it's our weak point right now, but we'll
a sleeper
fix
though.
Yeah, just not as comfortable as you'd like to be, and that's thought just the way he came out like that and the way you banned him, I see that ban as an annoyance ban. You're just, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Well, I mean, I'll say props to Blizzard for like balancing a lot of the heroes. There's no like must ban every game heroes. You know, I mean, you know, there's a couple. There's the priority picks. You know,
there's map picks. There's favored. You know, you know you're going up against this guy, so you ban that specific hero. Stuff like that. Yeah. But like, no, I agree 100%. Blizzard does, and we had kind of noted on this here and there throughout the stream. They, you know, we're at 70 plus heroes, and it's very, very well balanced. I mean, it's not like first pick, first ban, you know, this guy because this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So before we let you go, do you have any shout outs that you want to give?
Shout outs, how about to the whole world? It was, you know, it was a lot of fun playing with everyone. I really enjoy, you know, this whole community, and, you know, everyone here, you know, that's why I moved here from League of Legends. You know, there are a bunch of toxic people over there, and, you know, come on, let's be real, we are a little bit over here, but it's less so. You know, a lot of you guys are very fun to play with, so yeah.
Yeah, the good outweighs the bad here, you come to find.
Well, we're so glad to have you, and of course, you know, thank your team for, you know, letting us cast you, and also congratulate your team. You guys took the entire series throughout the night, so just once again, congratulations to you guys, and thank you so much for the interview.
Yeah, sure thing.
Thanks.
Alrighty. So at this point, that's gonna be kind of the transition to the end of our stream here for HeroesHype Amateur Week number 84. I mean, before we go, I mean, where can people find you, Fear?
You guys can find me on both Twitch and Twitter. I'm usually streaming Heroes 5-6 nights a week. It's at Recurring Fear. That's RECURRINGFEAR, despite my name being FEER. And it's the same for Twitch and for Twitter. I always, if you follow me on Twitter, I'll send out updates when I'm going live. I play a lot of unranked draft, fun games with my friends. You know, sometimes Probius Gazlo show up. There's some Valera play. You know, it's just a fun time. Play with a lot of great people from around the community, and a lot of people from the HeroesHype community that I've actually, you know, grown really close with just being involved with this group. So if you want to check me out there, you know, go give me a follow, and look forward to seeing you guys. How about you?
All right. And you can find me at Bahamut Gaming at Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. I tweet out when I go live. Typically, it's mostly casting. I am pretty much casting probably about 5 days of the week at this point. 7 if I honestly can. But that's pretty much where you can find me. But we just want to give a major shout out to the teams that obviously let us cast them, the teams that showed up and played. Just absolutely appreciate it so much. A huge shout out to HeroesHype for just, you know, they put all this. I mean, this is their baby, and they let us come and just cast all this fun, and then just nobody gives ever a shout out to it, so I always have to say it. I'm pretty sure they actually do, but Ball and Beast does. You know, he handles all the background stuff, and just have to give him credit, because, you know, I just kind of sit here and I was moving the camera around a little bit. He was handling transitions and getting us the games and the lobbies and all that. So just huge shout out to him as well. But at this point, that is going to be it for our stream. Thank you so much to everyone who swung by. Thank you so much to the new subs. And we'll see you guys at BlizzCon, basically. I think that's the next time. I don't...
Start tomorrow.
And we'll see you. So thank you so much for coming by, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Have a great night.